So we're going to get started with a gentle supported back bend. So you'll need your blanket for this, and you're going to want to roll it up like I have here, and then place it at the top of your mat, just about where your shoulder blades would be if you were to lie down. And then that's exactly what we're going to do. So come onto your back, placing the blanket at the top of your shoulder blades, and you can extend your legs out in front of you and your arms up overhead. You can also have the soles of your feet together and let the knees fall out to the side if you want to start to get a little bit of a hip opener as well. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale it out. And just take a moment here to connect with your breath and connect with your body. Noticing what your body is asking of you today. This first posture is really more of a passive kind of posture. So we're not really putting any muscular effort into this. We're just allowing the shape to begin to slowly and gently open up our back and heart. So notice if there's anywhere in your body where you can soften. And if you have the time today, I really recommend staying in this posture for a few extra minutes. Otherwise, we'll continue with the class. So let's take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly begin to make your way out of this posture. You can roll onto one side or come onto your elbows first, whichever is more comfortable, and then take the blanket off to the side and come up into a seat with your legs crossed, hands on top of your knees. Sit up nice and tall, and just notice the effects of that first posture. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then begin to circle your shoulders up and back. A few times, and then change direction, circling them forward. And slowly come back to a neutral position. Inhale, reach your arms above you. Exhale, twist to your left. Right hand can come to your left knee. Left hand can come somewhere behind you. Keep lifting and lengthening as you find your twist. Inhale your arms back to center. And exhale, twist to your right. Left hand can come to your right knee. And keep opening your chest as you twist. Inhale your arms back through center. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then slowly we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So rolling over and taking your shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees. We'll move through a couple cat-cows to warm up the spine here. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, press into your hands, round your back. Inhale to drop your belly, open your chest. Exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. One more time, each one, inhale. Exhale. And come back into a neutral tabletop. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. And then begin to walk your hands forward for a puppy stretch, keeping your hips over your knees Take your chest and forehead to the mat. And if you're a little bit more flexible here, maybe you take your chin towards the floor. And energetically draw your armpits in towards each other, opening up the upper back. Take one more breath here. And then slide your chest between your arms. Take your hips to the floor, coming into Sphinx. Press into your forearms. Lift your chest. Draw your shoulder blades together. And broaden your collarbone. Exhale, release your forehead to the mat. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Draw your elbows in close towards your ribs. And we'll come up into a baby cobra. So lift your chest on your inhale. Little to no weight in your hands. Keep drawing your elbows in towards the ribs. And exhale, release. Coming into a full cobra, pressing into your hands. Lift your chest. Draw your shoulders down your back. Exhale, untuck your toes. Send your hips up for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Pressing into your hands, draw your chest towards your thighs. And if you need a little movement here, you can bend one knee and then the other. And then slowly make your way into a neutral down dog. If your hamstrings are feeling really tight, you can have your knees bent. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. Inhale, extend your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step it between your hands, coming into Crescent Lunge. Take your right knee over your ankle, press out through your back heel. Inhale, high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Reach your arms above you. Draw your shoulders down your back. And then take your arms behind you, grabbing onto opposite elbows, or finding a reverse namaste if it's available to you, bringing your palms together. Stay committed to the bend in your front leg. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release your back knee to the floor. Untuck your toes. Press your hips forward and down, making sure that your front knee doesn't pass your ankle to protect that knee. Keep lifting and lengthening through your spine. Exhale, release your hands in front. Lift your back knee off the mat. Step your right leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend your left leg up behind you. Exhale, step it between your hands, firming up your base. Inhale, high lunge, arms above you. Front knee stacked over the ankle. Press out through your back heel, engaging the quad. And then bring your arms behind you, finding your reverse namaste or grabbing onto your opposite elbows, whichever is available to you. Soften your lower ribs. And take one more breath here. Exhale, lower your back knee to the mat, untuck your toes, pressing your hips forward and down. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot. Lift your back knee off the mat. Step your left leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Step or hop through to a forward fold, Uttanasana. Big toes touching or feet hips width apart. And keep your knees as bent as you need. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Flat back, hands to the floor or your shins. Exhale, fold forward. Root into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms above you. Interlace your fingers, except for your index fingers. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling and find a gentle back bend. Exhale, soften your knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into your plank, stacking your shoulders above your wrists. Tuck your tailbone, press out through your heels. Exhale, lower your knees to the mat. Lower your chest and chin, keeping your elbows in close towards your wrists. Press up into Cobra. Inhale. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Take 2 deep breaths here. Come back to your body. Inhale, extend your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step it between your hands for Crescent Lunge. Drop your back knee, untuck your toes, and then press into your left hand. Bend your back knee. Reach your hips back so you can reach your foot with your right hand, and then send your hips forward and down. If your foot still feels really far away, you can place your left hand on top of a block, and then draw that foot in closer towards your butt, getting a little quad stretch. Exhale, slowly release your foot back to the mat. Bring your right hand in front, and we'll set up for pigeon. So walk your right foot towards the back of your left wrist. Right knee can come behind your right wrist. And then bring your hands in front of you, coming onto your fingertips. Draw your shoulders down your back, lift your chest. Exhale, roll onto your right hip. Bend your left knee, reaching for your foot with your left hand. Your right hand can come to the outside of your right knee. Bring your hips back to center. And then either stay here, or if it's available to you, you can bring your foot into your elbow. Keep pressing into your right hand to lift your chest. Or come into the full expression. If you're a little more open here already, you can interlace your fingers and take your right arm up overhead, finding a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, slowly release your hands in front without slingshotting your foot. Take your back leg to the mat, and then press your hips up for downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath here. Exhale it out. Inhale, extend your left leg up behind you. Exhale, step it between your hands, Crescent Lunge. Drop your back knee, untuck your toes, and then press into your right hand this time for the quad stretch. Bend your back knee, reach for your foot with your left hand, and then send your hips forward and down. Once again, if that feels really far away for you today, you can place your right hand on top of a block, and then press that foot closer towards your hips as you press your hips forward and down. Make sure your left knee is lining up with your toes. And take one more breath here. And slowly release your back foot, setting up for our Pigeon Variation. On this side, take your left foot towards the back of your right wrist. Take the left knee behind your left wrist, bringing your hips down to the mat, squaring your hips to the center of the mat. And then come on to your fingertips. Draw your shoulders back, find a gentle back bend. Rolling onto your left hip. Take your left hand by your left knee, bend your right knee, taking your foot into your hand, and then square your hips back to the top of the mat. Once again, if it's available to you, maybe you take that back foot in towards your elbow, And then draw that foot closer towards your butt. With your left hand, twist your torso towards your left, bringing your torso in line with your hips. And then maybe coming into that full expression, interlacing your fingers, drawing the left arm up overhead. Shine your heart forward. Exhale, slowly release your back foot, bring your hands in front. And this time take your right leg in front, extending the legs out for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. You can help your hips come back with your hands. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale your arms above you. And exhale, fold forward. Bringing your hands to wherever you can reach today. It's not necessary to touch your toes. So if you have a lot of rounding in your back, you're going to back off a little bit so that we can keep the stretch in the back of the legs. So noticing that the spine remains relatively straight. And take one more breath here. Exhale, and slowly walk your hands up your legs, coming into a seat with your legs crossed. Hands can come to your knees, sitting up nice and tall. Noticing the effects of this practice on your body and your mind. And if you have the time and you'd like to take a Shavasana now, you can come onto your back and relax there for as long as you need to. And if you're ready to wrap up with me, bring your hands together at your heart center. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.